Dear students, welcome to our class on pressure. Before we go into our class on pressure, I would like to share with you a small story. Once there was a very good farmer who was working under a landlord. He used to take water from a pond to the landlord's house every day, both in the morning as well as in the evening. There is a considerable distance between the pond and the landlord's house. He's a wonderful farmer with very good human values. Now, when he was taking water from the pond, a crack developed on one of the pots. So he thought, I better not throw it, let me keep it like that. Then he, while carrying the water on his shoulders with the wooden balance, a pot is there in one side and the pot is there. He used to keep the cracked pot on the shoulder and then carrying the water. He did not throw away the cracked pot. One day, the cracked pot asked, my dear farmer, you are so kind. Even though there is a crack on me, you are using it, but I am able to take only half the water as compared to my other friend in the same, two pots. We were good friends, no doubt. Unfortunately, a crack developed. I am supposed to do good, full work to you, but leave me like that. The pot asked, no. My dear pot, I have a lot of affection for you. I have a lot of admiration for you. You see, come on with me. There are so many flowers here. It is just because of you. Why? Even though there is a crack on you, I always tried to keep you on the side where I kept some seeds only for you to give water. So when I am carrying the water on my shoulders, both pots, one behind the other on my shoulder, I always kept you the side on which I kept the seed after you developed the crack. So you are putting the water, giving wonderful flowers. What else I require? What extra help I require from you? I never leave you. The morality, small crack on the pot won't matter. Small mistakes, small defects on anything and any place doesn't matter. If you see, from that you can derive much more benefit. So any other inference also you can make. This is from my side the inference. Now, so let us go into our class on pressure. Pressure is defined as a force per unit area. What is meant by force per unit area? If you take any object, that object exerts some pressure wherever you keep it. Similarly, the atmosphere is so big. It is 60,000 billion tons weighing matter. How much? 60,000 billion tons weighing matter, atmosphere. That much weight is there for the atmosphere when it is spread over both over the land and ocean. What is happening? So much of pressure it exists. Because of that much weight, both over the lithosphere, that is the land part, and over the hydrosphere, lot of force it exerts. So, by definition, pressure is force per unit area. For example, in a square centimeter or in a square inch area, how much a column of air is putting, that's what we call it as the force per unit area. It is called as pressure. For scientific purposes, we use the term atmospheric pressure. What is atmospheric pressure? The pressure exerted by a column of air over a square centimeter or square inch area which is extended up to outermost boundary layer of the atmosphere. That's what we call it as the atmospheric pressure. And there is another term called as the standard atmospheric pressure. What is the meaning? What is the definition of standard atmospheric pressure? Is the pressure exerted by a column of air which is extended up to outermost boundary layer of the atmosphere at 15 degrees centigrade and 45 degrees latitude. That means from the equator on both sides 45 degrees latitude. At 15 degrees centigrade, the pressure exerted by a column of air over a square centimeter or square inch area is usually taken as the standard atmospheric pressure, and the units are millimeters of mercury. Say for 760 millimeters or 76 centimeters or 1013.25 millibars. Okay, these are the units. The units are bars, millibars, millimeters, centimeters of mercury column. We call it as the pressure. Now, why we should study in agricultural meteorology the pressure? Why we should study? Yes, pressure has a lot of significance as far as croplands are concerned. What is its significance is, as the height increases in the troposphere, the atmospheric pressure at high altitude areas or mountains or hills, the pressure decreases. Once the pressure decreases, when you wish to grow, okay, a crop or a higher plant, maybe a mango tree, for example, okay, they won't grow the way in which they grow in the plain areas, because at higher altitudes, pressure being lesser, both oxygen and carbon dioxide, oxygen required for respiration, carbon dioxide required for photosynthesis are less. So thereby photosynthesis is less, photosynthesis are less, yields are less. Second thing is, at higher altitudes, and that means higher heights, there is a possibility for ultraviolet radiation which negatively affects the yields of the crop, growth of the crop, and higher plants for their flowering and fruit bearing. Okay, so that's why an agricultural meteorologist shall have the thorough knowledge of the pressure of a particular area. So based on that, selection of the crops can be done. Now, what is the isobar? Usually we use the term isobar. The way in which the points connecting equal temperatures are known as isotherms, because T therms, isotherms, isobars. Okay, what are isobars? Points connecting equal pressure are known as isobars. Okay, this is the term we always use in our scientific parlance to explain the effect of pressure, okay, on croplands. This is how the importance of pressure is so much on the crops. Now, in the atmosphere, there are some variations in the pressure, like temperature variations. Pressure variations also exist on the Earth's surface. Horizontal variation, vertical variation, cyclic variation. In the cyclic variation again, daily, seasonal. How they vary, I just try to explain to you. If you see the globe, this is the equator, okay? This is the equator. Now, towards northern side, much of the land is there. Come this side, okay? Right. Now, so this is the equator. On the northern side, much of the land is there. This is called as the land hemisphere. On the southern side, most of the ocean is there, of course. Okay, this is the land hemisphere. and this is water hemisphere in other words. Usually we take this as a basis for explaining any theory classes. Okay. Now, pressure variations. Number one. Over the equator, the sun's rays continuously fall over the equator. So, incoming solar radiation or insolation is falling over the equator. The land gets heated up, resulting the air over the land getting heated up. Once air over the land gets heated up, continuously there is a low pressure over the equator and adjoining areas. This is the equator. Okay, this is the equator, adjoining areas. Equator. This is the equator or adjoining area. So, continuous low pressure is there over the equator. We call them as the doldrums. Again, in the next chapter, wind, I explain to you what is the significance of doldrums. Now, when you go away from the equator, one latitude, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this, 90 degrees latitudes. Usually the pressure goes on increasing because the insolation heating is more and the sun's rays have to travel long distances, during which process the energy is dissipated, energy is lost in the atmosphere for the sun's rays, thereby horizontal, okay, from the equator as you go towards both sides of the poles, the temperature decreases. This is what we call it as the horizontal pressure variation. Horizontal pressure variation. Now, what is vertical pressure variation? As I said a couple of minutes back, force per unit area is pressure. Okay. Over a square centimeter or over a square inch area. Now, vertical means as you go up, surface of the sea, 0, okay, height, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter, like that, 1 meter, 2 meter, 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, like that, as you go up, what is happening is the atmosphere, as I said, the weight of the atmosphere is 60,000 billion tons. That much of an atmosphere. Earth is rotating. While Earth is rotating, that much weight never falls either on the lithosphere or hydrosphere because molecular collisions make atmosphere never to fall on the Earth, either on the lithosphere or on the hydrosphere. Now, once the atmosphere is not falling, however, there is a gravitational pull or gravitational force through which the air molecules or atmospheric molecules or wind molecules are forced by gravitation. Now, that's why the concentration of the atmosphere is more over the Earth's surface. At what rate in the first class, first chapter I told, atmosphere and agricultural meteorology, 0.55 kilometers height from the surface of the Earth, half of the atmosphere is lying. That means out of 60,000 billion tons, approximately 30,000 billion tons is close to the Earth's surface. The remaining half, 11 kilometers, 3/4. Imagine, when you go to 11 kilometers. So, this is what we call it as the atmospheric pressure, okay, as you go from the surface to the higher altitudes away from the Earth's surface, the pressure decreases. This is the second one. The third one is the cyclic variations. What is cyclic? There are two. For a basic course like this, only there are two letters, understand. One is daily pressure variation, second one is the seasonal pressure variation. What is the daily pressure variation? If you take 24 hours of a day, the sun's rays start falling in the tropical areas or subtropical areas any time around 6 a.m. Now, as the temperature increases, there is a decrease in the pressure. Okay, it goes on decreasing. Then, after some time, the temperature again tries to fall down. Once the temperature tries to fall down, the pressure again, okay, goes on increasing. Temperature is increasing, usually pressure falls. Temperature is falling, usually increases. If you take the seasonal variations, the second one in the cyclic, in of course there is spring, there is summer, there is autumn, there is winter globally. Okay, as far as tropical areas are concerned, there are three seasons: the summer, the rainy season or wet season, the third one is the winter season or dry season. Now, if you take the summer, the temperatures are high, naturally pressure is less. During the rainy season, there is a cloudiness, there are rains and everything, water vapor is there, it takes lot of influence on the pressure. As compared to summer, the pressures are relatively high. But during the winter season, invariably the pressures are higher than summer and rainy season, that is the Kharif season, we call it as. Why? Because during the winters there is a low temperature. That's why winter seasonal temperatures are high. This is what I would like to explain to you as far as pressure variations. That is horizontal pressure variations, vertical pressure variations, cyclic pressure variations, daily and seasonal. Then over the earth there are some surface, small scale surface wind systems. Small scale, not larger scale. A small scale surface wind system is, a classical example is cyclone. Okay, cyclone is a small scale wind system. An anticyclone is again a small scale wind system. Like this, there are cyclones and anticyclones. I just explained to you what is the basics, fundamentals of cyclone is. Like trees, like animals, like you and me. Cyclone has a genesis, cyclone has a development, cyclone has a decay. So these are the basic phases. How the earth, land and atmosphere goes on interacting while earth is rotating around itself. The interaction among land mass, water mass and air. Air is a fluid, water is a fluid, this is a solid. See the philosophy, the science behind cyclone. The land, the water and the atmosphere interact. In the bargain, what happens is usually at every place there is a low pressure, at every place there is a high pressure. Okay, Simon, next to it. If you look at a small tree, okay, see the top leaves will be usually moving. When pressure wind is blowing, naturally it comes to this side. When the wind is not blowing, the tree leaves would be like this, because wind moves from high pressure to low pressure. Good. When wind is moving from high pressure to low pressure, that high pressure, okay, wherever there is a low pressure, there the leaves tilted. Once it again becomes a high pressure, it will come back. That is the relation between the wind and pressure at the smaller scale. Now, cyclones, as I said, cyclones genesis is because of the interaction among the land, water and atmosphere. Cyclones are usually small area. Their effect is seen few hundreds to maximum of 2000 kilometers square area. Cyclones have centrally low pressure. From the periphery to the center, the pressure goes on decreasing. Cyclones give high winds, high humidity, rainfall. Cyclones give high wind speeds, high humidity is there, thereby clouds are there, thereby rain occurs. Cyclones give rains. Now, let us go to anticyclone. This is another system. Centrally high pressure area is known as a high pressure system. As I explained to you, a tree, when wind is moving from high pressure to low pressure, okay, till the low pressure becomes high pressure within few seconds or maximum 10 to 15, 20, 25 seconds, it becomes high pressure and the leaves will come back to their normal position, or branches will come back to their normal position. So, what is high pressure here? Centrally high pressure. So, from the periphery, the pressure goes on increasing in the anticyclones. small scale systems, very small scale systems of 200 or maximum 2000 kilometers. So in the whole of the globe, what is the area of 200 or say 2000 kilometers? So these are the small scale pressure systems. First one is the cyclone, second one is the anticyclones. Anticyclones, unlike cyclones, they do not have higher wind speeds, calm, very calm winds are there. They do not have high humidity, they do not have clouds at all, thereby no rain. So if you will be asked a question in your midterm or final exam, write the differences between cyclones and anticyclones. Centrally low pressure cyclones, centrally high pressure anticyclones. Number 2, wind speeds are high, wind speeds are calm in anticyclone. There is a humidity high in cyclone, there is no humidity changes in the anticyclone. Because of the high humidity, wind is there, clouds are formed in the cyclone, no clouds are formed in the anticyclone. Rain occurs because of humidity, clouds and wind coupled. So in the cyclones, no rain occurs due to anticyclones. However, very very important bit, you should know one important thing is the cyclones move in the northern hemisphere in the anti-clockwise direction, not clockwise. Okay, anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Cyclones move in the anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Anticyclones move in vice versa. So these are the major differences between cyclones and anticyclones. Then what are the factors influencing the pressure of a place? As I said, for every weather element, what are the factors we should understand? Now, latitude influences the pressure of a place, number 1. Solar radiation influences the pressure of a place. Okay. Then the relief means topography. Okay, elevations, now mountain areas low pressure, plain areas, okay, on plain land the pressure is high, mountain areas pressure is less. That means latitude, altitude and insolation. Particularly, as I said, among the 3 seasons cyclic, summer, okay, low pressures are there. During the rainy season for us, high vapor is there, clouds are there. So vapor also play an important role with reference to pressure variation. So this is what I would like to discuss with you. To sum it up once again, pressure is defined as force per unit area. Atmospheric pressure is defined as the pressure exerted by a column of air over a square centimeter or square inch area, which is extended up to outermost boundary layer of the atmosphere. Then standard atmospheric pressure is the atmospheric pressure at 15 degrees centigrade and 45 degrees latitudes on both sides of the equator. Then we try to understand the importance of pressure. Higher altitudinal areas, in the mountain areas, we cannot grow crops successfully or trees, okay, orchards, because low oxygen, low carbon dioxide concentrations limits the crops to be grown successfully, which will give finally income to the farmer, and he has to eat the food. Okay, he has to eat the food. So at higher altitude, we should take care of pressure while recommending. Then what are the variations of pressure? Horizontal, vertical, cyclic, day and seasonal. Then small pressure systems on the cyclones and anticyclones, and these are the factors. And very interesting thing I will tell before the class is closing. What is that? There is a strong relation between the pressure and wind. This question would come in your midterm and final. So after your class is over, if you go, okay, if you are seeing very clear weather, presume that you are in the high pressure area. If after 2 hours when you come out of your hostels, if cloudy is there, okay, then you can say it as the low pressure. That means a high pressure in and around you gives clear weather. A low pressure in and around gives you cloudy weather. So this is the strong relation between the pressure and weather. Weather means, just weather is defined as a state or condition of the atmosphere at a given place and at a given instant of time. So, at a given instant of time, the variations in pressure changes the weather in and around you. So, how it is? When high pressure is there, good, clear weather is there, no clouds, very calm. When a low pressure is there, clouds will come, you can see clouds, and low pressure may give sometimes disturbed weather. So, this is what I would like to say. In the beginning of the class, I told the pot carried by a good, very pious, sacred, and a very good human valued farmer. A farmer with good human values. How he treated the cracked pot. I have faith in you that even if some cracks are there in the pot, like in anything, what all you come across, okay? Never and ever look down or throw it away. Never think. Try to use that. Try to make it useful to you. To come up, you will come up. Thank you very much. May God bless you.